So, for Christmas, my friend Laura got me a bingo sheet curated to all the books on my TBR shelf. There's a jar with a letter and a number that lets me know what book I will be getting on the bingo sheet. So, for 2025, I thought I'd document it and we could all go through this reading challenge together. Welcome back to the next book video, I guess. This is part 2 of the bingo book series that my friend Laura put together for me. So if you haven't watched the first one, watch it. Check it out first. Hello. I'm going to be reading on the train tomorrow because I have school tomorrow. Actually, I'm downtown from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. tomorrow. And that means I need to pick my book. So, as always, I really need to get a bingo dabber for this thing. Because right now you can't tell I finished anything. The first book of this video. And 40. Read a classic. I'm pretty sure I only have one classic on my shelf, so Pride and Prejudice is the first one. I'm actually low-key excited about this because I really want to watch the movie. That's so funny because I was expecting to sit here and go through my books, and that was so quick. I'm gonna start reading it tomorrow on the train. I finished it. Jaw on the floor, gagged. Let's talk about it. Going into reading it, I thought to myself, this style of writing, probably not gonna like it, but I want to read it just to read it. And of all the classics that I saw, this is the only one that I trusted, okay? To not be a little too historical that I'm ooh. You know what I mean? I won't lie to you. The first half of the book, I was like, what? I was like, where are we going with this? Where are we, hello? Where are we going with this? And I think it's because it took me a while to adjust to the style of writing that the best way to explain it is you don't even have to, know a second language. Maybe other schools growing up had, a second language that you would practice in school. I know in Canada, it's French. Could I converse in French? Probably not. But if I were to read a basic sentence in French right now, I would translate it to English in my head. So that exact feeling of translating French to English in my head is what it felt like reading this book. I had to sit there with every line and block in. So I was reading it, had a rough idea of what was going on. Okay, I'm getting into it. By the a quarter way through, I was like, huh? And that's because there are so many characters thrown at you. Boom, 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 boom. Here's another one. Here's another one. Here's another. But the gag is their names are similar. So for example, there's this last name and there's this last name. And you're throwing all these characters at me. So the way I see it is okay, there's a B last name, so it's this person. But if there's 2 B last names, I'm confused. Because I'm not going to remember who's Bingley. Am I saying these right? Bingley and Bennett. I'm not going to remember that because I'm just being introduced to these characters. I just see B. That, number 1. And number 2, there's also this style of writing. Let's just say the main character's name is Elizabeth, okay? And she has 4 other sisters and their last name is Bennett. So sometimes the book will say, Elizabeth said this. Miss Bennett did this. Great, Miss Bennett's Elizabeth. However, there are 4 other sisters who are also Miss Bennett. So at times I was like, girl, what the f*** are we talking about? I was lost, confused, confuzzled. I got to the point where I was reading on the train. Number 1, I read on the train mostly when I commute to school. So sometimes I don't film because I commute during rush hour and I'm not confident like that. I got to the point where halfway through the book, I was like, I'm gonna have to DNF this or I'm gonna have to figure something out. I went on my phone, searched up Pride and Prejudice characters and found this website that gave me their personality traits and their relations to each other. After reading it, I had a better idea of who was who and I was like, oh, okay, it's clicking. But it also spoiled the book for me. But here's the gag. I quickly forgot everything that was on that list of characters because I got confused again, but then I got unconfused and I learned the characters on my own, but it took me very far into the book to learn all the characters so that when these spoilers happened, I was like, oh, I didn't think it was gonna be this I knew this was gonna happen, but I didn't know this person was gonna be the one that did it. Even though the list literally said that, I couldn't remember who the people were that are part of the spoils. Me sitting here, I'm like, oh my god. By the end of the book, I was locked in. I couldn't find time to read it. Originally, I would have been 1-star book. Now, 4 stars. 4 stars. Follow my Goodreads if you're not. You can read my review on there. I typed out a little thing. But yeah, I was intrigued. I think what I also liked about this book is it's I know I shouldn't compare it to this because this was literally the times for this, but it reminded me of Bridgerton, but without the spice, which I love. I get people have their preferences to what they like in books. I'm not shaming people for liking that. Closed door, is that what it's called? Closed door book romances. Love those. In this book, it was it wasn't even hand holding. It wasn't even literally just words. And it was these people like each other because of their words and who they are as a person. It was just so bad. And it kept reminding people this person's not handsome, but he's an agreeable man. I don't know, I was obsessed. I love that. And the speech, sometimes I wish I actually got the speeches. Sometimes it would be straight up dialogue where it's like, I love you, I yearn for you. And then it will switch to just a regular narration paragraph. And they'll say like, he told her about his feelings for her, how much he yearned for her. Baby, don't tell me, show me. Put the dialogue back. I want, hello? Why are we switching it up? Show me. By the end, it was like enemies to lovers. And by the end, it was like yearning. Stolen stares. I glanced up at him and she realized he was staring at her the entire time. I just loved it. There's nothing better than having a really good day and finishing a really good book. So like, I'm on cloud 9 right now. I loved it. It was so good. I just love when people love people for who they are. This isn't like dating. This is literally just like, boom, marriage right after. They just knew just from talking with each other that this was their person. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Something happened today. I have to show you. There's a value village right beside my campus, and every day after class I always go in there and I just browse. I never look at the clothes. Every single time I have no intention of buying anything. I'm just trying to kill time until I have to catch my train. I found this series in Value Village for $16 for the entire thing, and it was in perfect condition. No stains, no scratches, no nothing. $16? You're gonna think I'm crazy because this is a book that's seen a lot in thrift stores. Like, it's so hard to justify buying a series when you've already read it. I've only read the first 3 books, and a lot of people actually hate on these books, but one of these books is my favorite movie ever, and I loved the books when I read it. At least the first 2 when I read it when I was in like elementary school. I found the entire Maze Runner series in perfect condition. Hello? I'm literally gonna bawl my eyes out. I'm the happiest girl in the world. I was not gonna buy this. You think I was gonna buy 5 books today? So, they were literally right beside each other, and I yanked the thing off the shelf. I walked away so happy. And it's so funny because there's other people in the book section with me, and I swear every time you pick up a book, someone's always like, they're trying to eye what you got. And I know they're probably like, girl, like, I see the series in thrift stores all the time, but also I see the Hunger Games at thrift stores all the time, and the Hunger Games is good. I feel like I hit the jackpot. Anyways, so happy about this. You have no idea. I got a whole series for $16. Anyways, now that we've crossed that off the bingo, it's time. N39. Read a YA book. Ooh, I knew when I got this prompt, I knew exactly what book I was gonna read. Yeah, I've heard so many good things about this book too, so I'm actually really excited. 347 pages. So quick read. And I'm also saying that because like text isn't like incredibly small. Like, that looks like really quick to get through. So yeah, I'm excited. Okay, I finished it. I'm pretty sure I rated it 4 stars. It's been like a week or 2 since I read it, so I'm gonna be going based off of like what I remember. So this isn't like a fresh reaction. This is like, I've sat with the book, I've let it marinate, I've read some Goodreads reviews, so my original opinion might have been a little warped, but nonetheless, we proceed. I found a lot of people were disliking this book because of the amount of chess talk in it. Me personally, I ate it up. One thing I love about Ali Hazelwood books is she writes her books with the background knowledge of what she's writing about. So if it's the science books, there's like science terminology in there. I don't understand what all of it means, but somehow it's written in a way where it's like, I understand. Could I explain to you what half these things are? Absolutely not. But it's written in a way that I can grasp what's being put down, and it works into the scene. So for that, I think she did that with chess. I appreciated it. I also like the fact that the first half of the book, a lot of people said they weren't interested because it was literally just chess. There was like no romance. I didn't mind reading about her chess adventures. I've also seen a lot of reviews about people hating the Gen Z talk in here and how they thought it was too much. Me personally, it didn't really bother me that much. Ali Hazelwood kind of is known for having random one-liners that are a little like, but I think I like the concept and the book enough to overlook it. I saw this one person on Goodreads like literally write every single Gen Z thing she mentioned, and it was a lot, and I was like, wow, was I reading the same book? Because like, I didn't even notice that. I think this was the first time in a book I could clock her references. That was literally it. I was just like, okay, I understood what that was. Anyways, moving on back to chess. Like, I didn't didn't faze me that much. Certain characters made me upset in this book, and I think let's run through them. Now, bear with me because I read this like 2 weeks ago. I don't remember everybody's name, which probably is not a great thing because how can I remember all of an Adam, but I can't remember Nolan. Okay, number one, Nolan literally reminds me of the third Nolan twin, and I couldn't get that out of my head. Every time I saw the book, it was like, jump scare, whoa, the third Nolan twin. I don't know why, but it's like been conditioned in my brain that's. Anyways, listen. About his character, I didn't really have problems with this character. I think one part that made me uncomfortable was literally when, like, what's her name? Mallory. I think my issue was when Mallory's little sisters were talking to him about spicy stuff, if you will, and he actually, like, answered. You don't need to do that. You just met them. That's weird. Don't do that. There is one scene where he's literally sick and sees her and like thinks it's a dream. I thought that was hilarious. I thought that was so funny. I was literally reading on the train. I was sitting there giggling to myself. I was like, that's so funny because this man's delirious. And I know what it's like to be sick and be so out of your own mind that like anything goes. He did have some like one-liners that were a little like, ooh. Also, I caught on video my live reaction to the first line in the book. I'm not gonna lie, when I read that first sentence, I was scared. I was like, oh no. Because the last book I read was Love on the Brain. And if you watch my last video, you know exactly how I feel about that. So when I read that first line, I was like, the first line of a book sets up the book. Everything. We're gonna sit here and compare first liners in books to Check and Me. I've read many books. Many more books than you. Already I'm like, girl, debatable. Solid start. Percy Jackson. Look, I didn't want to be a half-blood. Relatable. I'm intrigued already. The police officer's body goes blurry, then sharpens again. Girl, what? What's going on? This is literally a Wattpad book turned into like an actual published. Looking out my bedroom window, I'm faced with yet another dull English summer day. The setting is set, thank you. And then imagine my surprise when I open this book, and this is the first sentence that I read. I am reliably informed that you're a Gen Z sex symbol. I fear I was scared. I feel like that is one of the one-liners in her books that I'm like, However, I did rate this book 4 stars. I do think it was good, but it was just that one-liner. Girl, don't start off a book like that. Don't scare me like that. A way I wanted to let out the deepest side of my life after I read that. Main character, I didn't really have any issues with her. I think she was chilling, living her life. If anything, I think she self-sabotages a lot, which is a real thing, and I think a lot of people can relate to. It's very interesting to read someone's perspective on that, because you can look at it from an outside source and be like, girl, you're being stupid, fix it. But that's something she's dealing with internally and thinks is normal. It was one of those moments where it was like, girl, get your stuff together, but then you also have to realize like, no, she's self-sabotaging, that's just how she is. It was very interesting because I wasn't like upset with her and being like, go do this. It was almost like this is the first time in a book I've read a perspective of like self-sabotaging, and I've not understood it, but I realized it. Like it clocked into my brain, and I was like, oh. And for that, I couldn't like be like, girl, pull up your socks and let's get to work, you know? I'm not gonna lie, her best friend bothered me. She ghosted her the entire time, and the reasoning for it was like this girl's been reaching out the entire book and that's your excuse. And like somehow Mallory was the one, like I just didn't like the best friend. I was like, you're not a bestie, you're not a best. Sorry, I can't take that. That's not a good excuse for me. It was like she was the problem, but it was turned around so that it was actually, no, you just gaslit her. What? 1. 2, the younger sister was really bothering me. Really bothering me, because I get being an angsty teenager. I was there, I was annoying, I get it. But when you're in that situation and you understand like I don't know, maybe, again, I'm saying it from my perspective, but it was just like she was bratty. And then, I don't know, I just felt like this whole entire book, anytime someone else did something wrong to this main character, it was turned back onto her. It was like, it's your fault that I'm a brat. It's your fault that I don't answer your message. Like somehow everything got turned back to her, and in the end it was supposed to be some yay, we're all together, and it was like, like, I'm not happy for you. I do think Allie Hazelwood took notes from everybody's comments about how she writes men in a very like misogynistic tone, and how every single man in the books are like, because there are actual men in there that were tolerable. Growth. I know, as soon as it happened, I clocked it. I was like, I can't tell if we've evolved or if you read a lot of the comments online, because I was like, I don't know, I think it was a good book. It made me want to study one chess move, perfect it, so that anytime I play chess, I can just pull out that one move, because I guarantee anybody I play chess with is not going to be able to do that move. But like, it'd be like my little party trick. But also, I have way too much going on in my life that it's like, Is this something that I should be prioritizing? I think it was just the side characters that were bothering me, mainly this time, not the main character. I didn't really have an issue with him. I feel like he was just nonchalant. He was just like, whatever. Oh, one thing I loved in the book is how competitive they were. It made me laugh because it made him feel more human. Listen, I love reading a romance book where the man is perfect, but there's something about human qualities, like realistic human qualities in characters in romance books that I love. Like, anytime he like lost, he would throw a tantrum. They were literally playing tic-tac-toe and he lost it, like slammed his hand on the table. And I just thought it was hilarious. And then it got to one point where she also was like low-key crashing out too when she lost. I don't know, I liked that. Because I feel like if I were to write a perfect man, I wouldn't be writing that quality into it, that he throws tantrums like a toddler and like sweeps chessboards off the table. It just made him so much more human. That's my review. Reader's bingo. Let's hit it. This is just one. I-28. Read a book that gives summer vibes. I already know exactly what book that's gonna be. I'm actually so excited. The Summer of Chasing Mermaids by Sarah Auckler. Whenever The Little Mermaid came out, I found this book in a little library and I thought it was a sign. I'm like actually really excited about this book. I haven't heard anything about it, but I'm like really excited. And it looks like it's gonna be a quick read too. Like there's not that many words on the pages. Let's read it. Let's talk about this book. It's literally May. Also, my dad's like fully working out, so if you can hear music, ignore that. I finished this book like way back then, and school got really hectic for me and I just couldn't film my review, so I'm doing it now. Really good. I gave this book 5 stars. I don't even remember what my Goodreads review was. I haven't had a book in a while where I just like keep wanting to read it, and I'm genuinely like excited and looking forward until the next time I can pick up this book. And I was reading this while I was at school, and I usually read on the train while I commute, and I was just finding myself constantly like waiting for classes to be over, and I'd almost walk faster to the train station so I could just sit at the train station and just read. I didn't even want to get off the train when I got to my stop because I was like, don't interrupt me, I'm reading. I don't remember all the characters' names because it has been a while. Our main character, Elise, I believe. Love her. I will fight for her. There's her past and how it was affecting how she was reacting to things and how she was moving forward through things now. I don't know. She wasn't a perfect character, but she was very likable. I also really like the way that the book was written. The character was originally a singer, but she no longer has her voice. So she did like a lot of written poetry. Even when she was communicating to people, she would communicate through like just writing things down. And just the words that she wrote were so poetic. I don't know, everything just felt like a song. Read a lot of books recently where I'm like, okay, I'm reading it, I love the plot, I love the characters, I love this and that, but the writing all kind of blurs together. And this was the first book in a bit where the writing didn't all blur together. There were so many just quotes in here that you can find. I'm gonna be rereading this book this summer just so I can like tab it and go through with quotes again. It just really stood out to me. It was just so beautifully written. I just didn't want it to end. Every character had their flaws, every character had, you know, their little quirks about them, but I liked most of them. I feel like I'm being very vague because bear with me, it has been months since I have read this, but this was a 5-star for me. I'm definitely going to be rereading it this summer. I might actually bring this with me because I am going to be going on a beach trip. I feel like I'm not doing justice to it in this video because it's been so long, but with that, I am going to end the video off here. Thank you all so much for watching. Comment down below what books you're currently reading or books that you want to read. You can like the video, subscribe, honestly do whatever you want, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye! Oh, yeah.